Kim, we are making Derby dessert today. The best part about this one, you can pack it easily. It travels. You can freeze it. You can make it ahead.
That's right.
The perfect dessert. And it's got
really
chocolate and bourbon and all kinds
all
of good stuff.
kinds of good stuff. We've got a range, but the one I'm going to show you how to make today is the Kentucky bourbon cake.
Okay.
And it actually is as old as the Commonwealth. It came from Virginia when Kentucky, kind of separated,
Right. Before
basically
becoming its own state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it was created to celebrate the fleggling bourbon industry.
Okay.
So that's how old this recipe is. So I have to tell you, on Pinterest there was a cake going around this year called a Kentucky butter cake, and I have scoffed against that cake. I'm like, Iowa is the butter state, Kentucky is the bourbon state.
We're the bourbon state. Well, this is both, right?
It is both. So we're going to make the batter here.
Okay.
And it starts off, it's not a pound cake, and it's richer than a yellow cake, so it's somewhere in the middle. It's a type of cake called a butter cake. I've already, go ahead and fluff this up a little bit. This is butter and 2 cups of sugar, 2 sticks of butter, 2 cups of sugar, and then we're going to add the eggs. And we add the eggs one at a time. Yeah, there we go. And the reason that we add the eggs one at a time is to beat air into the butter so that we get a nice fluffy product.
Okay.
After we do our eggs, we'll come back and we'll add buttermilk, and buttermilk adds moist, just a nice moist quality to a baked cake. And then we've got our flour.
Add the flour.
Exactly. Look at this rich batter that we end up with.
Thick.
It
so
is.
Does it have the texture of a pound? Does it have like the thickness of a pound cake?
It's lighter than a pound cake, but a little heavier than a yellow cake.
Gotcha.
And you can make 1 bundt cake or 2 pancake or 2 loaf cakes with this recipe.
Okay, now.
And then I've got the finished cake here. I made it in a tube pan because that's kind of traditional. And then almost a cup and a half of bourbon infused syrup. And the trick here is, I think it's better to do it in a squeeze bottle because you have control. And I've made a squeeze bottle for you. And you just slowly bathe the cake in this, and that way it absorbs from the top, and then whatever rolls down the sides and the bottom absorbs also without without having a soggy bottom on the cake.
Okay.
Now, traditionally, this cake had a cup and a half of chopped pecans, but I don't think that people are quite as open to nuts in the cakes and whatever, so I made this without. And then after you do this and you let it sit and absorb, you end up with this beautiful cake. Now, it might look a little bit simple, but it can be highlighted with some fresh berries with whipped cream, but the texture of the cake is the trick here.
Okay.
This cake is like eating velvet. There is something so special about this. I eat a lot of cake.
To try it.
It is delicious.
There you go.
Check that out.
We are out of time, but Janine always shares her recipes with us. So if you go to WDRB.com, click on the Mornings tab, we'll have a link. Not only will she share this recipe, but many more that you can try for your Derby party. Janine,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.